This is Bob. Bob is currently sitting on the floor of his luxury apartment, which is awkward because his couch was just repossessed. Just last week, Bob felt like a financial god. He got a tiny 3% raise at work and immediately leased a sports car that costs 80% of his monthly salary. Why? To impress his neighbor, Dave. The problem? Dave doesn't care. Dave doesn't even like Bob. Bob is the living definition of a legendary quote by Will Rogers. Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. So how do you stop being like Bob and actually build real, invisible wealth? Today we are breaking down the exact psychology of why your brain loves looking rich and how to trick it into actually becoming rich. Let's dive in. To understand how Bob ruined his life, we have to look at a psychological phenomenon called lifestyle creep. It is a slow, silent killer of wealth. Think back to college or your first job. You were broke. You ate instant noodles, slept on a mattress on the floor, and your car made a noise like a dying lawnmower. But here is the crazy part. You were actually happy. Then you get a real job. You make twice as much money. Your brain says, awesome, now I can save money and invest. But your lizard brain says, no, throw away the ramen. We are eating artisanal sushi now. Suddenly, things that used to be luxuries become necessities. You need the subscription service. You need the designer shoes. You need the phone with 3 slightly better camera lenses that you will only use to take pictures of your cat. 5 years pass. You are making 3 times your starting salary, but your bank account looks exactly the same. You are stuck on the financial hamster wheel. You aren't working for freedom anymore. You are working to pay off the upgrades. Which brings us right back to Bob. He didn't realize that wealth isn't what you spend, it is what you keep. Let's look at the actual math of how much Bob's fancy car is costing his future self. He bought a $60,000 luxury car. Because he didn't have the cash, he financed it. $800 a month for 7 long years. Here is what the salesman didn't tell him. The second Bob drove that car off the lot, it lost 20% of its value. In 5 years, that $60,000 status symbol will be worth about $25,000. Bob is literally burning cash just to look cool at traffic lights. Now, let's look at an alternate universe. Imagine if Bob kept his old boring car and invested that $800 a month into a boring index fund instead. Thanks to the magic of compound interest, averaging a standard 8% return, that money wouldn't shrink, it would explode. After those same 7 years, Bob would have nearly $95,000. If he just left that money alone and never added another penny, by the time he retires, that single decision would be worth over $275,000. So Bob didn't actually buy a $60,000 car. He bought a $275,000 car and threw away his early retirement. Also, his neighbor Dave could ignore him in style. So, how do you protect yourself from becoming like Bob? You use the 48-hour rule. Whenever you want to buy something that isn't a basic necessity, you force yourself to wait 2 full days before hitting the buy button. 90% of the time, that intense, dopamine-driven urge to buy it will completely vanish. Your brain cools down, reality sets in, and you realize you didn't actually need that glowing gadget to begin with. You just saved your future self thousands of dollars by doing absolutely nothing. As for Bob, he sold the luxury car, downloaded a budgeting app, and is currently commuting to work on a borrowed tricycle. Surprisingly, Dave actually thinks it's cool. If you want to build real wealth and stop wasting money trying to impress people you don't even like, hit that subscribe button. See you next week.